Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to another episode of Going South by Southwest over at GoinSXSW.com, where you can find out the podcast that you can find out what's going on over at South by Southwest. News and views and reviews and the unofficial podcast for South by Southwest, where we talk about the interactive, we talk about the educational, we talk about the music, we talk about the film, we talk about the this and that and the everything, where I take my eyes and go like this again and again and again and again. How you doing? It's a very cluttered room today, and the reason why is because I got a brand new product here. It's called the Sit Stand Desk. And after I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to start dismantling this area and reorganizing the Geek Studio, as the computers are going to move. Everything's going to move to one spot. And the Sit Stand Desk, the cool thing about Sit Stand Desk is I can pull it up and I can do shows. I can push it down. I can sit down. And of course, it increases circulation in my legs and helps lose weight and all that other good stuff, diabetes and stuff like that. So I'm going to be rearranging this room and the Geek Studio so it'll accommodate that. So a couple things are going by. This desk right here that I'm sitting at right now is it's been pretty much on its last legs for a little while now. So it'll be nice to actually just kind of take it out to the dumpster and go from there. So we're gonna make this a short show, and hopefully we'll get some good news here. First of all, go over to GoinSouthBySouthwest.com. That's over at GoinSXSW.com for all the news and stuff like that. We'll have that right there. Some cool news, and that is last week, as I said, the sponsor that I had for South by Southwest, all of a sudden they backed out because they backed out of South by Southwest completely. Now that put me in a very interesting situation, but I got a hold of a friend, and he said send a proposal over, and we'll go from there. And I sent the proposal over, and they said, hey, we like it. So, and they're going to be at South by Southwest as well. And the name of the company, I actually interviewed them at CES. The name of the company is Red Touch Media. And here's their website here. Of course, we got John Cleese right on the front here. Connection through content. And this is really cool. Not only does it help you save on having paper products, like printing out documents and stuff like that, but it also saves on being able to communicate with your employees from wherever they are. Now, Red Touch Media has 3 layers of their business. One is called Red Touch Bridge. Then you have Red Touch Connect and Red Touch Express. Red Touch Bridge is a way for people to, like companies and stuff like that, to be able to get their documents to employees if they are not in the office and they might be traveling. They might just be in a different location, and they can get these documents and files to them a lot easier across the internet and more secure. Red Touch Connect is a service that brings out media and files and stuff like that in kiosks for people to download movies, to download music, to download whatever they need to download for their content. And then, of course, Red Touch Express, bringing consumer info to the stores, keeping them come back for more. So as they're watching a preview for a movie or something like that, the system kind of notices what the person's doing and how they're reacting, and they come up if they're skipping forward or anything like that to get to the meat of a preview or a movie or a song or something like that, and bring that content back. That's what Red Touch Media is. Like I said, they're going to be at South by Southwest. You could check it out all over at redtouchmedia.com. We're going to have a link in the show notes. Of course, all the show notes from here on for this year will be through Red Touch Media. So you can check that out over at redtouchmedia.com. So thank you very much for Red Touch Media for being a sponsor. Go over there and check it out. All right, let's start with, we'll start with schedule. And I'll tell you something, the schedule is hot and heavy for me because I've been really scouring through it, trying to pick the ones that I really want to go to. because the one thing you got to remember, South by Southwest is pretty much encompassed in a 10-block area. Put it right in downtown Austin. You put a star on the map, and then you figure out about 10 blocks around that. That's pretty much the walking distance. So from end to end, it would be about 20 blocks. And one event could be 10 blocks to the left, and the other event could be 20 blocks to the right. And then there's events that are outside of the downtown area, and you got to pick and choose your events, because if you want to go to event A and then you want to go to event B, but event B is more important, and then you realize at the end of event A, you've got to cross town to get to event B, you might not be making event B. Simple as that. So most everything's at the convention center. Or a lot of things are at the convention center, but once again, there's a lot of outside influence there, and a lot of schedules that go from there. I'm not going to be stuck in sessions. I will probably be traveling around the town and going from there. One of the things that I enjoyed last year, and I'm going to enjoy this year, good friend, met him a couple years ago, Ewan Spence. He's from I can't remember if he's Irish or Scottish. I think he's Scottish. And he does this every single year over at the Magnolia Cafe South. And of course, I got the Facebook page. I'm going to put the link in the show notes so you can get to it if you want to be part of this. But Magnolia Cafe, the South by Southwest Social Breakfast 2013. Last year it rained. And part of Magnolia Cafe is kind of outside, but they did have a rain tarp around it. So it was cold and it was wet, but we still had breakfast and we still had a lot of fun, and it was very delicious. So this year at Magnolia Cafe South, I will be there again. That is on the 9th of March at 8 a.m. until about 9 or 10 o'clock. So I had a lot of fun. If you saw the pictures I did last year, the little cereal boxes, the Scobalizer cereal boxes and stuff like that were there. I picked one up at that point in time. So that is the South by Southwest Social Breakfast. Once again, I'll have the link in the show notes so you can get to there. All right, let's start over at Forbes.com. Samsung might have missed a South by Southwest presence with their Galaxy S4 launch date, because they're going to do it right after the interactive part. Now, and of course, this is Ewan's article right there over on Forbes, so you can check him out over at Ewan Spence over at Forbes.com. Didn't even realize that was his article. So good job, Ewan. You're dominating going South by Southwest. So anyway, he talks about how Samsung might have missed the boat on this. But I'm going to tell you something. I was going through my events, and everything's going through Eventbrite to choose. And one of the events, I think it was Pandora's event, that I signed up for, actually had the zombie unicorn game. Now, if you watch TV, you know that Samsung's doing this whole zombie unicorn game to show them how you can collaborate and work on their devices. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the debut of the zombie unicorn game there, which might show off some Samsung devices. Of course, Samsung also has the Blogger Lounge over at South by Southwest. So we might be able to get firsthand look at the Galaxy S4 from the Blogger Lounge. So that should be pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. So in the meantime, check it out over at Forbes.com. Once again, we'll have the link in the show notes. Now, let's go over to Zagat.com, and I'm thinking to myself, I might have talked about this last week, but it's a different spin. You know, we talked about the food and the chef, the master chef that's going to be, what was his name? Master chef that's going to be part of the food truck, figuring out where the food trucks are. But over on Zagat, you can check out, they have a taco map for South by Southwest. Of course, Tex-Mex food, big in Austin, Texas. So if you want to get your list of breakfast tacos, you can get them right here. And then, of course, anything through Zagat. So check it out over at Zagat.com. It's more of an ad than anything now I'm thinking about it. So, but, hey, a good taco is hard to find sometimes. And I'll tell you something, I can't wait to get some of the South by Southwest, the Tex-Mex food down there, from like Gueros and stuff like that. That's gonna be awesome food here. Hey, a big shout out to my friend over at Jimmy Fro. He was going to be on the show last week, couldn't make it. And now these next 2 weeks, shows, just so you know, a show note, next 2 weeks, excuse me, we're going to have just basically me, showing you some news and stuff like that. We won't get any interviews. And then we'll set that up down the road with interviews. Of course, after South by Southwest, you'll be seeing interviews galore from my travels around Austin, Texas. So, friends over at Jimmy Fro Show, they do an independent music podcast. They do artist interviews, indie music, so on and so forth. So you can check that out. Subscribe to their mailing list. You can hear them on there, and I'm going to be talking to them, and I might even be on the show because I am a musician. You see the guitar behind me. Actually, in February, it's February album writing month, and I actually wrote 2 songs for February album writing month. The challenge is to write 14 songs, but with my schedule doing podcasting and stuff like that, it's almost impossible to actually sit down and do a writing show or a writing session and get a good song going. But I did get 2 songs out of there, and that's the important thing, is to write at least 1 song and get it going from there. So Jimmy Fro Show, maybe I'll play a couple of the songs on the Jimmy Fro Show. We'll see what happens. So, all right, let's move on from there. Let's go over to the South by Southwest's page, and we're going to talk about they have a new radio station, and they have a new video station. We're going to talk about the radio station. And once again, this is on southbysouthwest.com, SXSW.com. They started South by Southwest FM, or SXSWfm, the first online radio channel for South by Southwest. It's powered by Triton Digital, and you can tune it in at southbysouthwest.com/FM. So if you want to find out, because they put out all this music, and you can actually download all the music of South by Southwest. And there's I'm not sure where the link is. I'm gonna have to look for it, but you can get all the music and listen to the music and put it into your collections and go from there. But pretty cool stuff. If you want to just listen to it through a regular radio channel, then you go to southbysouthwest.com/FM. And the video is going to .tv or something like that. Very, very similar. So, all right, let's move on from there. We're going to stick on, actually, no, we're not going to stick on there. We're going to show you here. There's going to be iPhone, and of course there's an official South by Southwest app that you can get, but an app that a lot of people have been playing with in the last couple days. It's called Bizzabo, Bizzabo, and basically what it is it's an iPhone app. I probably can't. It's probably not going to focus in. Let's see if I can. No, it's not going to focus in. But basically what it is a location map. Now I also have it on the screen over here. I'll just show you the screen. Basically what this does, and we'll zoom it back out. I might have to reload it because it got confused and I had to reboot my computer. So it's going to show you, there we go, all the events of South by Southwest. Now, these are events that you put on. So if it's there, then you will put it in there, and then it'll show up on the map. So basically what happens, I can zoom in, and then I just have to highlight over one of these. Like, for instance, here's a Yammer meetup in Austin for South by Southwest. So you click on there, and you'll say, okay, Yammer meetup in Austin, more info. So we'll click on more info, and that'll take us to the Yammer meetup. It'll say who's attending. It'll ask you to join the community, and that's part of the app that you get for your iPhone. And then if you go down, if there's an Eventbrite or something like that, it'll be down here. It looks like there isn't an Eventbrite, but I will join this community because I want to meet up about Yammer and talk about Yammer. So that's pretty cool. Of course, you can go through this list, and it doesn't have to be in downtown Austin. Let's just close that there. There are events like, for instance, here we go. Here's one. The Chevy presents the Cowboys and Cowgirls Gone Wild. We can get more info, and that's going to be at the Gueros on Congress Avenue in Austin, and I can't. This is going to be a big one, so I'm going to definitely go to this one. I went to it last year and had a lot of fun. That was the first day it didn't rain, and it was just amazing. So I'm just going to leave those up. I'll close that out, but check it all out. The name of it's called Bizzabo, Bizz. I gotta see it again, Bizzabo, and this is the app that will basically show you where the events are. You can sign up for the events. You can join the community. And when you join the community, it shows that you're going to be going to that event. So, all right, let's move on from there. We got 2 more articles, and then we'll get you on your merry way for this week. We're going to go back over to southbysouthwest.com. We're going to show you the hot trends for South by Southwest Interactive space exploration. Of course, we have a picture right there of Elon Musk, who's going to be talking on Saturday, March 9th at 2 p.m. And I'm going to try and be a part of that and check that out. Of course, he's the founder and CEO of SpaceX, which is the privately owned space company, and it's pretty interesting. And I'm just amazed what he's been doing in that field. And I can't wait to hear what he has to say about this. So very excited about this one, the space exploration over at South by Southwest Interactive. All right, last article on the show today. It's about how you arrive, at least startups hope. And this is over on wallstreetjournal.com. They talk about 3 startups that you might need for your travel itinerary. Like, for instance, the first one right here is called Silver Car, and we'll just open it up. Silver Car is a car rental system. They've got a different type of rental system that I have to figure out what they're talking about and how it's different from there. I haven't had a good chance to really look at it, but they're going to be at South by Southwest, and they're going to be around. Of course, last year Chevy had all these cars drive around that. So if you needed to get from point A to point B, you could just hop into one of the Chevy cars and get there. So maybe Silver Car will be doing that. Another one's called Sidecar, and Sidecar is a way to find out where a car is, how to get one. Kind of from what I see, it's if you've ever had or used Uber, then you might see what Sidecar is, and it might be very similar. But I haven't really got a chance to test it. But I will definitely get this app on my phone and test it out while I'm down there. And a third one is called Tagged, that they are talking about. Tagged is for meeting new people. It's a social network. You can sign up with Facebook. You can sign up with your email. You can meet people. You play games and share interests. And of course, they're going to be heavily around South by Southwest. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that works from there. So there's a lot of other ways to get from point A to point B during this time. And the funniest one, of course, is the rickshaws, or the pedicabs, as they call it. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the pedicabs, because it's new technologies for pedicabs so you can actually pay for your rides and to get from point A to point B. So very interested on there. Of course, you also have other companies like Zipcar and stuff like that. I don't know if they'll be at South by Southwest, but similar companies that take your ability to get from point A to point B and actually have a car. And that's what's really cool about that. So if you want to read more on that, go over to WSJ.com. All right, that pretty much does it for this episode of South by Southwest. My name is Jeffrey Powers. I hope you got informed on what's happening. Of course, next week we're going to have the last episode before South by Southwest. And then, of course, my travel plans are Friday. I am going to be there, and I will be there. I'm hoping to leave on Thursday and get there Thursday night. Of course, Friday be there for South by Southwest. be there till the 13th, and then fly back here to Madison, Wisconsin. So it's very possible that I could do a Going South by Southwest post show, but I will do it after the event is completed, which will be on I believe, the 19th. So let's see. So next week on March 6th, we will have an episode, the final episode before South by Southwest. And then on the 20th, we will do a wrap up on that. So anyway, that's it for Going South by Southwest for this week. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. And we will see you next week on Going South by Southwest. Take care.